Well, it's beautiful outside on a
Yes, it
Monday
is.
afternoon. There's baseball all around. Everything is grand unless you're a WWE fan, in which case everything is terrible. Welcome back to Two Marks and a Spark.
Greetings.
I'm Ben. That's Uncle Russ. I don't think either of us are in a particularly great mood today.
Oh,
I'm going to be
no,
honest.
I'm not in a bad mood at all, but it's got nothing to do with the quality of wrestling we're getting overall. We are on the road to WrestleMania,
You
and
wouldn't know it.
and there, the luster, it's lost its luster, you might say. It's not the crown jewel that it once was.
Russ. Oh, there's the graveyard from yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why that's here. Anyway,
it's just a reminder that nothing lasts forever.
well, that's true. Isn't it ever? Anyway, Russ, let's talk about the news regarding WrestleMania that came out today. That's that John Cena is the official host of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck?
I really don't. It's. I think it's unusual for this for them to not be sold out at this point, this close to the big show. And they're struggling with tickets. I don't feel sorry for them because they priced themselves out of reality, and now they're
Yep.
trying to do things to try to, without admitting that we fucked up and we really screwed up and we got to try to fix it now. That's what they're doing desperately. But you've still got these backstage packages, where people are being asked to pay, like literally, like pay $10,000 to ride on the bus with Cody Rhodes and shit like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, and I don't know who's buying this, but it ain't your average wrestling fan. I guarantee you that.
Isn't me or you.
No.
So, Russ, what would they have to book for you to even halfway consider going to Vegas right now?
Well, assuming I could afford it, and
Yes.
they would have to find. They'd have to shift this card around a little bit. I'd like to see a prominent spot for guys like Drew McIntyre. Where the hell's Gunther? Is he just taking time off? His name hasn't even been mentioned in quite a long time. I was hoping to see something out of him at WrestleMania. I want to see a showcase of the best of their mid-card talent showcased and not everything totally dominated by their superstars that have been superstars for years.
I agree.
We're not going to get that.
No. Russ, let's talk about Raw from last week before we
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know what's announced for Raw tonight. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I care because I'm not going to watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow when there's no baseball on that I care about anyway.
Right.
Russ, Raw last week was abhorrent.
Well, nothing to write home about, really. I mean, are these storylines, do you feel like things are moving ahead, making progress? We got a lot more of the same old thing. The ground we had covered with all of the stories was just kind of recapped, starting out with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar and Oba. They didn't do anything new with this.
No, it was a good angle, but it wasn't new. It was fun, but it wasn't new. And that was kind of the thing with this entire show. There's some fun stuff on this show, but none of it felt new, exciting, or interesting because you'd seen it before. Look, I'm just going to go through Raw very quickly here because I have a lot to say about SmackDown, and none of it's good.
All right.
Raw, for as not great as it was, SmackDown was worse. So let's just save our anger for that.
Okay.
Because I think both of us are fairly angry at that show for different reasons.
It was a waste of time.
The dumbest thing on Raw was this Paul Heyman Seth Rollins angle where Seth Rollins got arrested, and one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen, and they've done this before and they're going to do it again, and I hate it every time they do it. These guys do worse to each other on a weekly basis and nobody gets arrested. But the second you get too close to Paul Heyman, oh, you're in handcuffs, pal. You're getting dragged out of there.
And you've got a restraining order, apparently signed by a judge somewhere. for an incident that happened in another state a week ago. And then all of the police, all of the local cops in this town look like young wrestlers in training, you know,
Yes, they do.
with the hair that might be considered a little bit too long for most police departments.
One guy had his hair down to like here. What do you mean?
Yeah. And they all just do the same thing. I mean, I'm glad they're getting a payday, whoever they are, But
And then we had, for some goddamn reason, Penta versus Dominic Mysterio for the 18th time. Look, this match was really good the first 3 times they did it, but like, come on. Can we do something else? Javon versus where'd to go? Javon versus Waller was good. It was really short, but it was good.
It was way too short. It was probably one of the best matches on the show. People that deserve to be pushed, but are getting buried in that mid-card mess.
What else happened on this?
Both of those guys deserve a push.
What else happened on this mess? Bailey and Lyra got a win. I feel like this is their first win in 6 months.
Right. Yes. We had more. We had a little bit of drama with the
Kabuki Warriors.
Yes.
And Nia and Lash come out, and absolutely no one cared. And then we had the Usos.
They came out to promote the SmackDown.
And then the Usos and the Vision end in a DQ for the main event of the show again.
I think we've seen this a few times already.
Well, we have, and then there was a twist, but not really, because Punk comes out. He gets laid out by Roman Reigns. Roman just absolutely kills him. Roman's the heel in this whole thing, and he's getting cheered, which is the same problem over on SmackDown, but it's way worse over on SmackDown, believe it or not.
I know.
This was bad, but it is somehow worse on SmackDown.
I mean, it's really bad over there.
Like, Raw has problems. SmackDown is the problem. I don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing.
I don't know what he's going to have to do to get. We'll get there. SmackDown. Don't want to jump ahead.
Russ, do you want to be happy and talk about Dynamite for 10 minutes, or do you just want to talk about SmackDown now and then talk about Dynamite later?
I thought Dynamite was pretty good.
I'm sad I didn't go to this show.
Yeah, right in your neighborhood, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't go to this show because this show started with Omega versus Strickland. Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland. This match was fucking incredible.
It really got things off to a fast start. These shows don't have that slow build. They don't have people come out and talk for 20 minutes usually.
No, but that's why we like them.
Yes, exactly.
Omega puts up his EVP status. Swerve puts up his number 1 contender status. These two get color. These two beat the hell out of each other. And then Kenny Omega wins because, remember, folks, AEW is nothing if not the Elite's promotion. So, of course, Kenny Omega is going to go over. Remember that at the end of the day, this is still all Elite wrestling, and Kenny Omega is in the Elite.
Absolutely.
And Kenny Omega, of course, has to go over at some point. And he did here. Then we had the Death Riders, who I'm less sick of now than I used to be.
Uh-huh.
It was Moxley, Garcia, and Shafir against Zeta Steel, Dante, and Darius Martin. Whatever happened to the Martin brothers, by the way? These two were like looking like they were headed for a massive push and then just died.
Yes, right. Yeah. They pop up once in a while, usually not together.
Well, they're both from Minnesota, so that's why they were on this show, and they were promptly destroyed.
Yep.
Very quickly. This didn't last long.
No.
We had an Ospreay backstage promo,
right,
in which he challenges Moxley to a match. Looks like this match is going to happen at Dynasty. Why didn't they just wait for Dynasty for Ospreay to wrestle again?
I could not tell you that.
Why did he wrestle on TV last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever the hell that was?
Right.
That first week after the pay-per-view.
Give it away for free, I guess, is their philosophy.
We then had a Rocky Romero versus Mike Bailey. For an AEW match, this was fine. For a WWE match, this would have been considered one of the greatest matches they've had in the last 5 years. But for an AEW match, this was kind of just there. But would you agree with me that if this match...
This was good.
But yeah. Would you agree that if this match happened on SmackDown, we might be calling it the greatest thing ever?
Well, yeah, because it's just something totally different. You know, it would come as a surprise. You're not used to seeing this on SmackDown.
MJF finally showed up for work.
Yes.
Which he hates the state of Minnesota, so why the hell he decided to come back that week, I don't know. But part of the reason I didn't go is because I didn't think he was going to be there, and then he showed up. So I was like, shit.
Right. Well, you missed an opportunity to get insulted for living in such a worthless state, in such a worthless town, you know?
I mean, you live like 400 miles south. It's not like you're doing much better.
No. Are you kidding? That's why Iowa and Minnesota make fun of each other so much, is because they're so much alike.
Either one of them are great, believe me. Been to both. MJF cuts a pretty good promo here.
Yes, he does.
And Omega cuts it off, and they go a little back and forth, and that was pretty much that. We had the dogs and the conglomeration in about the 70th different configuration we've seen these guys have a match.
Right.
I mean, you would swear there's 80 guys in a conglomeration at this point.
It's always a different configuration, but, you know, at least these guys get a chance to get a little work, you know.
I mean, at least it's not like Raw, where not only is it the same tag teams, it's the same configuration of those tag teams, so it's not even like remotely different.
Right.
Yes, this is technically the same match, but it's different guys, so it doesn't feel the exact same. The dogs get a win. I don't know what the hell they're doing with David Finlay, but he needs to be a singles guy.
I agree.
We had Tekla and I'm going to start over. Tekla and Mina Shirakawa for the women's world title. This was one of Tekla's better defenses, and that's saying something.
Yes. You know, I didn't know what to make of her at first, but boy, she's growing on me. She's very good. She's pretty good on the mic. She manages to get a good reaction from the crowd. You know, she really knows how to piss people off on the mic. And that's money. That's good.
And Tekla retains the title in a pretty good match with Mina Shirakawa. Why Mina got a title match here, I have no earthly idea. She beat Marina Shafir, who hasn't beat anybody in months.
Right. Also, every time I see Tekla now, I'm reminded how currently they're not really doing anything at all with the sisters, are they?
No.
Sisters of Sin, who are both pretty good wrestlers and probably could bring a lot to the show, but once again, kind of lost to the shuffle. Don't know how to use them.
We had a main event that started late, as these main events tend to do.
Right.
Because AEW cannot just do a 2-hour show. They have to do like 2 hours and 12 minutes or something like that.
Every time, yep.
Darby Allin and Roosh. I don't know why this match was here, but it was good.
Yes, both are good.
This match had no reason to exist, but it was really good.
Yeah. Well, I like Roosh. You know, to me, he carried the match. I don't hate Darby Allin. I'm just not a fan of the kind of, you know, I'm not a fan of high-flying stuff that just doesn't make any rational sense, you know. I mean, there's a difference between risking injury and, you know, like trying to commit suicide on TV.
One note I took on this match was Roosh is really fucking good, and they should use him more. That's the first thing I wrote here.
Absolutely.
Which I swear I've written that note when I've watched a Roosh match 1,000 times.
Right.
But I think I could write it every time and it would still be right.
Not just in the ring, but his entrance, you know, his presence in the ring. This guy is money, and they're just not seeing it. Every time I see him, I think, why don't we see more of him? And
then St. Paul got a little mad in the middle of this main event and started chanting "fuck ice."
Oh yeah, well,
I mean,
local. It's a local situation, you know.
Well,
We can't censor the will of the people.
but okay, I understand being pissed. Everybody knows how I see things politically.
Yeah.
I more so agree with them than anything else.
Right.
In fact, I do agree with them.
But
But why are we chanting this in the middle of the main event?
Because they think they can, you know.
Well, they can. That's the thing.
But why?
At a certain point,
you know.
First of all, the word "fuck" got censored because it has to.
Right.
And to a casual viewer who maybe isn't from the US, who doesn't pay attention to world news, they're thinking, who the hell's Ice?
Right. They're probably thinking, ice, baby.
This was unbelievable. That this happened again in another AEW main event. By the way, if this happened on a WWE show, the building would burn down.
Oh, yeah. Well,
everybody in it.
It all started with that Brody King match. He wore a shirt, and people reacted to that. It wasn't a planned thing. It was a spontaneous. No. The first time it happened, it was a spontaneous thing.
No, but I don't think Tony Khan minds it too much, because if he did, I think he'd come out and tell people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's just that, I don't know. Why invite problems with the FCC if you don't have to? I mean, they push the boundaries on language and violence for a weekly TV show, pretty much,
without the crowd chanting the F word.
Right, exactly. We'll just get a Moxley promo. You're probably going to hear the F word sooner or later, right?
A Moxley or a Swerve promo, and you're going to get it. So yeah,
because we're cutting edge, man. We're on the cutting edge of society. We know how to cuss on TV. That makes us bad. That makes us bad.
I mean, Turner clearly doesn't care, because if they did, it would have stopped.
Right.
Turner clearly does not give a shit.
Right. I don't know how it works now, but in order for the FCC to even get, to investigate something like that, they got to have a formal complaint from a citizen. And maybe nobody in the general citizenry that cares about that kind of thing, they're probably not going to be watching AEW Dynamite.
No, because it's on a weird channel anyway. That's
right.
Plus, it's a simulcast now, so there's that. Then the FCC doesn't control streaming, so
exactly.
Russ, do we have to talk about SmackDown? Do we have to do this?
I feel that we should say something about it because, as part of the wrestling fandom, we need to bear witness to things, whether it's beautiful or ugly. And
did you say witness or wetness?
To bear witness to this historical trend that we're seeing. We wish it wasn't happening, but it feels like SmackDown isn't even really trying. The main focus of this show was a match between Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson. And Jelly Roll, God, how would you describe the way he moves around the ring? I mean, we've seen celebrity wrestler crossovers before that weren't bad. This is not one of those. He just doesn't move like an athlete,
He isn't bad. Like, he isn't Snooki bad. Like, he's fine. He's serviceable, but he should not be in a singles match.
No,
he did that tag match at SummerSlam a couple of years ago, and I thought that match was fine. Like, it was what it was. It was a tag match, and he did a lot more than I expected him to.
Right.
But this is what happens when you put a celebrity that isn't Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny is an enigma and just not normal about 100 different ways. I mean, this dude is just not every celebrity can be Bad Bunny is what I'm trying to say. And Bad Bunny excelled at this in a way that we've never seen a crossover star do.
Right.
Unless you want to argue Logan Paul.
Logan Paul is awful good. in the ring. I will give him that. But he also, you know, a little bit different athletic background, but I can see the crossover from MMA to boxing to pro wrestling.
I mean, that makes more sense than I'm a hip hop country singer and now I'm gonna beat the shit out of Kit Wilson for 10 minutes.
I mean, we've had football players and basketball players for decades that have become good wrestlers.
So let's talk about SmackDown. Damon, I just want you to put the picture of Jelly Roll on the screen because that's what we're going to talk about first. I know that's not what happened first. Just put the picture of goddamn Jelly Roll on the screen. Just get him up there.
Jelly.
Anyway.
Oh, you don't mean jelly. You don't mean Jelly Nutella, or Joey. Not to be confused with Joey Nutella, or Nutella, or whatever his name is. This is Jelly Roll.
Well, Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson went out there, and they had unequivocally the worst match of the year.
It was terrible, and you know. You got to give Kit Wilson credit for trying his best to make this not look like.
By the way, Kit Wilson is not a bad wrestler. No, I want to point that out.
No, he's not. And I enjoyed the tag team he was in.
Pretty deadly.
I thought they were unique. I liked them. This is not doing Kit Wilson any favors. I'm sorry.
Elton Prince is still hurt, so there is that.
Well,
so there's hope that maybe Elton comes back and they put these guys back together, and we can all pretend this never happened,
right?
Because that is legitimately the best thing we can hope for right now.
Well, we know why they're doing it because of the money, because of the ratings. But you know, you still got to put on a good match.
Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson had maybe the worst match we've reviewed on this show ever. Legitimately the worst match, I think, since me and you started reviewing shows.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'd rather watch a fucking Punjabi prison match than that shit.
I couldn't believe it was real.
Yeah.
We then had... I'm not even going in order here because I don't care anymore. Because because they don't care anymore. Why should I?
There he is.
Poor Kit Wilson.
Poor guy. Yeah.
Can I bitch about this Tiffany Stratton Julia match? Not because it was bad, but because they just booked this thing horribly.
Yes, you can.
First of all, Tiffany Stratton has nothing for WrestleMania. Absolutely nothing.
Not a thing.
And do you know what they could have done here? Because they booked her versus the Women's U.S. Champion. They could have had her beat Julia and you set up a match for WrestleMania. Instead, what did they do? These fucking idiots. These morons.
Tell us, what did they do?
Tiffany goes for the prettiest moonsault ever. Julia hits a roll-up off of this because Tiffany misses. Julia rolls her up. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And Tiffany looks like a dumb fuck.
Yeah, she did not look good.
Everybody looks like a dipshit.
Right.
The booker looks like a dipshit. Whoever came up with this is absolutely a dipshit. And Julia looks like a dipshit.
If they're trying to bury Tiffany Stratton on purpose, that doesn't make any sense either because she's still pretty over with the crowd.
And she's really good.
She gets a good pop from the crowd.
And she's good. It's not like she's one of these people that gets over and they suck.
Yeah.
Because that does happen from time to time where a guy sucks but he gets over, or a girl sucks but she gets over. That didn't happen here. Tiffany's really fucking... This chick won the Royal Rumble 2 years ago or whatever it was. Or was it last year?
Right. Well, now
whatever year it was that she won the Rumble.
The sport she excelled in was gymnastics. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
yes,
we've had a few lady wrestlers from a gymnastics background before, like Dana Brooke, but none of them as successful as Tiffany.
And none of them were as good in the ring.
Right. Right, exactly.
Jesus fucking Christ. We then had a U.S. title match that, like,
This was, well, it was interesting. They set this up a little bit backstage with Sammy.
mhm.
No place on WrestleMania for poor Sami Zayn. He's
Well, with
told
the way they're booking the U.S. title, he still might not have a spot on that show.
exactly. It could all change by Friday night, couldn't it?
It really could. You know what? Sami Zayn could be WWE champion by Friday. It
Yes,
really could happen at this point.
but he had a match with
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo won the match.
And for some reason, they took the belt off Carmelo Hayes, even though Carmelo Hayes is extremely over, and they had no reason to beat him whatsoever other than to make him look like a goofball.
Yes. So then I guess they're Sammy is going to be wrestling him going into WrestleMania.
No, they announce,
Yeah.
and I don't think this match is going to happen, by the way. They announced Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for WrestleMania.
Trick Williams, but
Why?
I don't know, because he punched him backstage. Figure it out.
These two could have had a match at WrestleMania without the U.S. title, without the need of making Melo look like a fucking idiot.
There's Sami Zayn. Hairy lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looks like a put a khaki jacket on him. He looks like a young Fidel Castro.
You're going to get us in trouble.
He does.
Well, then we had B-Fab versus Rhea Ripley. This was after the Jelly Roll thing. They did announce an unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. I suspect that's going to end up being a Hell in a Cell match, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I suppose that's possible.
And Rhea Ripley versus B-Fab should be thankful. Rhea and B-Fab should be thankful that Jelly Roll was on this show.
Yeah, exactly.
They should be praying to Jelly Roll tonight.
So B-Fab,
really should.
She was brought up around the same time from NXT as this last group, wasn't she?
No, she was brought up when Swerve was still with the company.
Okay, that's been a couple years ago then, at least. Maybe 3.
Yeah, it was about 5.
Well, you see how your memory starts working when you get old? You can't tell the difference between last week and last decade. It's all a blur.
So anyway, Rhea won by DQ. This match was bad, but not because of anything Rhea did wrong. It's just B-Fab kind of sucks. The Bella Twins beat Alexa and Charlotte in a match absolutely no one cared about. The crowd did not give a single flying fuck, and Nikki Bella hurt her ankle.
I noticed how dead the crowd was. You know,
when Nikki Bella got hurt.
Right. So what was the point of all that? Gets us nowhere. But we did get that women's title match we were all craving, didn't we?
Can we talk about Randy Orton?
Yeah. What's he have to do to get booed? You gotta come up there and decapitate somebody.
He might have to shoot somebody. He gonna have to get a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how often anymore they try to turn somebody heel and it just totally backfires. It tells me that the timing's off. It's just not the right time for it.
When Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were feuding a couple of years ago and The Rock got involved, there was a joke going around that Cody needed to get a gun and just shoot one of these motherfuckers.
Okay, yeah.
I think Randy might just need to get a gun.
That probably wouldn't get past standards and practices, though. I don't think we
Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson should have got past standards and practices.
I know. Are you kidding?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, you remember years ago when Brian Pillman pulled a gun on Stone Cold in one of their little vignettes?
Yeah.
People just freaked out like crazy.
I just look.
Pardon me.
One of these times, like Arn pulled a fake gun on AEW a couple of years ago. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was finger guns, but it was.
I remember that. Yeah.
You remember he threatened to fucking shoot Cody in the head?
Right. But he was building off a controversy because apparently hadn't he been stopped by TSA for something for a weapons permit or something along that line? He had a legal gun, but people made a big deal out of the fact that he was carrying a gun with him. And I thought he's an old school wrestler. That back in the old days when they used to get stabbed and shit, so they had to carry guns sometimes for their own protection.
So we have this fucking segment that started the show actually, and I'm going out of order, but again, they don't care. Why should I?
Right.
Randy and Aldis have this interaction where Randy wants a match with Cardona. And Aldis insists Cardona isn't cleared. Apparently that didn't matter later, but
yeah, they said so. I thought they said he had a broken arm.
They did.
Well, then how the hell could he be wrestling 10 minutes later?
Again, it didn't matter 10 minutes later, but it mattered there.
Maybe it was a miraculous healing.
I just want to remind you, Nick Aldis had an offer from AEW.
Oh, he did. I wonder how long he's under contract to SmackDown or to WWE.
I wonder how often he thinks about that contract.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I could be wrestling Kenny Omega right now, and instead I'm sitting here telling Randy Orton that Matt Cardona has a broken arm when he's going to wrestle him in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, Nick Aldis is one of those guys that, I bet you he could still go if he had a chance for a match,
He absolutely could, and he should leave this company immediately.
Yeah. He was one of those guys that helped put TNA on the map. It started out
Russ.
rough, but boy did he get good.
Russ.
Yes, sir.
Who are 5 guys you think should just quit this company immediately and just leave and just go somewhere else?
Drew McIntyre.
Well, yeah. Drew McIntyre's absolutely on the list. Well, no, Jelly Roll won't quit. Jelly Roll's getting too much money.
Gunther.
Yeah, Gunther should leave the company like tomorrow. he should resign tonight.
Well, probably Kit Wilson, to tell you the truth. I mean, hey, if his partner gets healthy again, they might find greener pastures someplace else. I remember they brought in the Iconics to AEW for a couple of matches, and they did not get over worth a damn.
Do you know who really should consider leaving the company like a post haste?
Who's that?
Fucking Matt Cardona.
Boy, that would be like a short and sweet thing. I wonder if this is what he really signed up for.
Do you know what I think they told him? They're like, yeah, Matt, you're going to feud with Randy Orton. And he thinks, man, that's going to be great. I'm going to be feuding with Randy Orton. That's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
I don't think they told him. Did somebody tell him? I don't think they told him. Look, we make jokes here.
Uh-huh.
But Jordan Grace should have gone to AEW.
Yeah.
Mariah May never should have left AEW. Jeff Cobb should have just gone to AEW.
I'm like you. When I heard Jeff Cobb was coming to WWE, I expected him to do something interesting with him. He's just now a part of another generic Samoan gang. How many Samoan gangs do we need?
70.
It feels like we got that many. And we even pardon me. Yeah. They take something that is valid and they stretch it to the point to where you just can't believe it anymore.
Orton and Cardona had a decent match. I don't want to shit on these guys too much.
Yes, they did.
But of course, Randy won because he had to. And they again teased this mystery mentor person. Hopefully not Shane McMahon. God help us all if that's Shane McMahon. You'd probably like it if it was Cowboy Bob.
Pardon me. Cowboy Bob. Bob Orton?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you know who it should be?
Who's that?
Chris Jericho. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Never thought of that. Well, I understand he's kind of he's still under contract for a while, from what I understand.
Yeah, but I just think it'd be really funny if he said, fuck it, I'm just going to show up. I'm
Yeah,
just going to show up on SmackDown.
it'd be interesting. Well, I hope he doesn't wrestle too much wherever he goes.
Me too. Russ, what grade would you give SmackDown? I already know.
D minus.
Are you sure it's not an F?
It might deserve an F, except for the fact that there was a couple of good, there were some good moments in the midst of all that dreck. You know, it's
It felt like
kind of like watching a movie and not liking it overall, but maybe it had two good scenes in the whole movie.
now I want to give some credit here. It felt like Carmelo Hayes and Julia and Tiffany Stratton and Sami Zayn were all really trying to make sure this show didn't suck.
Yeah.
And
But
Randy Orton, God bless him, really didn't want this show to suck.
it's
And
usually not
then
the wrestlers.
And then they end this show in baffling fashion. And this is why I'm giving this show an F. Cody Rhodes shows up on his bus. And they don't just film him coming to the ring.
Right.
They film this motherfucker getting off his bus.
Right. And this was
And they show all of this.
after the match and another commercial break, remember?
Right. But they go to break and he's walking. They come back. He's still walking.
Yeah.
And he just keeps walking.
And the crowd is like, oh, what's going to happen now? Not much.
And in the background, you can see a guy walk out of the bathroom and go like this.
Oh, I miss that. I miss that.
And I'm thinking, is he talking about this show or is he talking about the bathroom?
That's right. That's right.
Because it's believable either way.
If this show was filmed in smell-o-vision.
Good Lord, help us all. And then Randy and Cody proceed to have a very boring brawl. No one cared. And the show ended mercifully.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, we're this much closer to WrestleMania. And like I said, still not sold out.
And now John Cena's the host of WrestleMania.
Well, I'm sure they're thinking that is going to help sell these, $1,000 tickets. And good luck with that.
You could announce that John Cena's wrestling Andre the Giant, who's been reincarnated and is alive and back in his prime, and I don't think you'd sell more tickets.
Well, what I'm wondering is, if considering what they charge for a ticket, how much would they charge for a beer and a hot dog? Would that be like $50?
That's based on the stadium, not on them.
Oh, I know, but I'm sure that they get a cut of it, don't they?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, they should. See, I'm greedy enough. I would definitely get a percentage of that.
Okay. What grade would you give Raw? Because I gave Raw a D.
I'd give it maybe a C minus, D plus. It was below average.
Dynamite was like an A for me. Dynamite was an A for me. I'm pissed I didn't go.
Right. I'd give that a good solid B.
But you understand why I'm pissed I didn't go.
Absolutely. Because it would have been nice. Did you see anything at Collision?
I heard from you that Ciampa and Ace Austin were on there.
That was a very, very good match. We had a rematch for the women's title, and it was Megan Bain, Alina Cross versus. They defeated Willow and Harley again, in a rematch, and looks like they're going to try to whip up some kind of challenge with the trios. Myron Reed defeated Johnny TV. Who the hell's Myron Reed? Never heard of him.
He's been there for a while. These are both Ring of Honor guys. They need to push Johnny TV because he's getting to the end here, and this guy's still really good. I don't know what they're doing with him.
And here was a surprise. Guess who defeated the Rascals? Aussie Open. Kyle and Mark wrestled a match together.
They're back?
Well, at least for this one match, you know. I was a bit surprised.
They just pulled that out on a random collision?
Yeah.
I mean, Russ, we talk about SmackDown every week. Why are we watching Collision?
And we also had international title defense. Okada defeated Kevin Knight, and that was a very good match.
They did Okada versus Kevin Knight on fucking Collision?
That was the main event. This was live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So I could have gone to this show, you know, conceivably. It's about 3 hours, but
Russ.
Yeah, way better. It sounds better than SmackDown, doesn't it?
I think the main takeaway that we've learned from this episode of Two Marks and a Spark is that we're both fucking idiots.
For sticking with SmackDown?
For not going to these shows and for watching SmackDown. Damon, if you agree that we're fucking idiots for watching SmackDown, I want you to put the SmackDown logo on the screen.
But you know, here's the thing: we're gonna have to. There you go.
That's not what I said.
But we're gonna have to stick with SmackDown at least through WrestleMania to see if they're going anywhere with this. And they probably won't, and we'll get to talk about it. Do they still do the? Oh, there he is. I thought his retirement was going to last a little longer.
I mean, he's not going to wrestle.
Well, go ahead. I didn't want him to wrestle the last year he wrestled. To tell you the truth, and not because he's a bad wrestler. It's just because I've seen it 100 times. You know, more than 100 times. There's only a handful of wrestlers that I never get tired of, and they're all retired.
Wow. I'm going to do a shameless plug for a second. Right. Everybody, hello, Bushwhackers. Hello. Everybody go watch the show. Damon, if you have a logo ready for that, I would very much appreciate it. If you don't worry about it. Well, there's the Graveyard from the show. That's a baseball show me and Damon are doing now. We're doing it after the Sunday night games every week, unless there's a wrestling pay-per-view or premium live event of some kind, in which case it will be Tuesdays right around this time. It's just scheduling stuff. That's just how it worked out. It'll either be Sundays or Tuesdays every week.
All right.
I'm hoping we're getting to the end of these Sunday premium live event pay-per-views because this seems to be a front half of the year thing.
We've got one coming up the week after Easter, AEW, and then the weekend after that, we've got a 2-nighter. We're going to be pulling double duty, man, with WrestleMania. By the time we get done with WrestleMania weekend, we're going to be so sick and tired of wrestling, we're probably going to want to take a week off and not do a show for a whole week.
We might not do a show the next week because we might be so pissed off.
Well, you never know.
They might just piss us off.
You remember they used to always do a show called Backlash right after WrestleMania.
They're doing Backlash again.
Well,
it's in Tampa.
When WrestleMania was good, then Backlash was usually pretty good too. And vice versa, you know?
Well, there was a couple of years there where Mania was terrible, but Backlash was good.
Yeah, well, I hope they're both good, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well, if you want to hear me in a much better mood, go watch yesterday's episode of the show.
I will do that.
I was in a much better mood on that show for half of it, at least. When I wasn't talking about this awful Twins team, I was in a good mood.
Well, you know, it's so early in the season, there's not a lot to be mad about yet, is there?
Well, we don't have any talent whatsoever, so I can be mad about whatever I want.
Well, what about the Royals this year?
Well, they're beating us right now.
Well,
There
if
you
I'm
go.
going to get on board with baseball, it's usually when the Royals are doing well. Then I get interested.
They're going to be good this year.
I get re-interested in my childhood sport of baseball. Back in the day, remember going to see the Twins with my grandpa back in the 1960s. That was a lot of fun.
They were good back then.
Yeah.
And then they weren't. As is the story of the Twins. They were good until they weren't.
Yeah, these things happen. Nothing lasts forever.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, buddy, we're going to be back here probably a week from today, if not on. Yeah, it'll be a week from today, probably, would be my guess.
Yes. That would work the best.
So we'll be back here in about a week.
Same time.
Talk about more wrestling. Hopefully, we have nicer things to say about at least one of these shows. AEW is great. The other two can. Thanks.
There you go.
Jelly roll.
I still haven't taken the time to check out this guy's music.
Don't.
I'm less inclined to after seeing him wrestle.
Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out everything else here on Lock 22. Go watch the show. We did about an hour and a half last night just talking about opening weekend.
All right.
I'm going to plug that show 100 times. And enjoy the wrestling this week as much as you can. If you really want to enjoy wrestling, maybe don't watch SmackDown. My advice. Take it from somebody who watches SmackDown. Don't do it. Do as I say, not as I do.
There you go.
And until next week, Damon, play our fucking music.
All right.